Namaste. Welcome to Mind Body Strength Online Fitness. I'm Joe and I'm back with you for another yoga session. So please come sitting comfortably, preferably on the front edge of a folded blanket. Go ahead and lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders, and just let your day go, focusing for a moment on your breath and how you're feeling. So today I'd like to spend just a few moments with you talking about the different paths of yoga. So in a previous class, we talked a little about the history of yoga, the fact that it was founded thousands and thousands of years ago in India by spiritual seekers who were following a path toward understanding the realities of life, and for the Hindus especially, trying to find a path to a higher power. So they basically followed a spiritual path. And today I'd like to talk about some of the other paths of yoga. And there are 5 major ones that we'll cover today. And you should have a handout that looks like this that says the paths of yoga. So you might want to pull that out, or you can look at it later if you like. But the first path that we're going to be talking about is Hatha Yoga, Hatha. And that is the physical branch of yoga. And it's what most yoga classes in the United States and the rest of the Western world usually focus on. So it includes all of the different postures that we're doing. And of course, it was developed later. It was not part of the original yogis' practice. It was several thousand years later that the postures were developed, and they were developed in order to allow those spiritual yogis to sit for long periods in meditation. So this class will be primarily focused on Hatha Yoga, but there are other types of yoga. Another one is Jnana Yoga. That's Jnana, is the way it's usually spelled. Sometimes it's spelled with a G. But Jnana Yoga is the yoga of wisdom. You might recall in an earlier class that we sat and put our hands palms up and our thumb and forefinger together, and that was called Jnana Mudra, the mudra of wisdom. So there's also a complete path of yoga in which the serious students of yoga are following not only the ancient writings of yoga like the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and others, but they're also going internally through meditation and trying to reach their own internal innate wisdom that we all have inside of us if we can go deep enough. So this was probably the major kind of yoga that was practiced by those early spiritual thinkers. There is also Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of devotion, love, and service to a higher power. So you might compare a Bhakti yogi to perhaps a nun, a Catholic nun, who lives apart from the world, or a monk, and those people are devoting their lives to prayer and devotion and service to God, to a higher power. And then we have also Karma Yoga. And most of you probably heard of karma and connected that with the what goes around comes around. So if you lead a good life and do good deeds, then you'll be rewarded later. But the interesting thing about the path of Karma Yoga is that it doesn't look at the outcome at all. So, for example, if you were to volunteer, perhaps at a food kitchen, either helping prepare or serve the food, and your whole purpose in doing that was that you really cared about people less fortunate and you wanted to help them. That would be an example of karma yoga. On the other hand, if a politician who was running for office perhaps went to the same food kitchen to serve people, and he just happened to have a reporter and a photographer there to make sure that he got a story and a picture in the newspaper the next day, then that would not be karma yoga, because that is not selfless service. That politician would doing that. Maybe he'd be doing partly to help people, but the other reason is to help himself, to get his picture in the paper, to get more publicity, and perhaps to be more easily elected. And then the fifth path of yoga is Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga basically encompasses all of the other paths. So you would be leading a life of self-study, you would be doing yoga postures, you would be practicing devotion, and you would be doing selfless service, doing all of those things. And that's the royal yoga. Raja means royal. So those are the different paths that a yogi can follow. And you may be here just for the physical exercise, just for the hatha yoga, and that's fine. But there are other paths to explore as you move along in yoga. So let's go ahead and do a little more breathing. And I think we'll do Sama Vritti breathing again. And this is the long, slow, deep inhalation, followed by a long, slow, soft exhalation, and then a normal breath in and a normal breath out. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'll walk you through the first couple of times. So begin. Long, slow, deep inhalation. Long, slow, soft exhalation. Normal breath in. Normal breath out. Long, slow, deep inhalation. Long, slow, soft exhalation. Normal breath in. Normal breath out. And now continue a few more rounds on your own. And as you're inhaling, try to be aware of the rib cage expanding as you breathe in, and then relaxing as you breathe out. Do one more round. All right, we'll begin warming up the body now to prepare for our Hatha Yoga practice. And today, instead of moving the joints around in order to warm them up, we're going to be tapping and massaging them. And this is also a method to warm up those tight muscles and joints. So we'll begin by taking the right hand and making a cup of it, and then tapping firmly on the left shoulder several times. And this tapping is helping to break up tension in the muscles and help them to warm up. Now go ahead and rub your hand around the shoulder, bringing more warmth into that muscle. And then go ahead and see if you can find any tight areas, maybe by just gently pressing your fingers in there. And when you find a tight area, just go ahead and squeeze it a little bit and then let it relax. And again, just squeeze and hold. Maybe just press those fingers in briefly and then let it relax. And let's do the other side. So now cup the left hand and tap firmly on the right shoulder. We do this several times. And then go ahead and rub the shoulder to continue warming up those muscles and joints. And then begin just pressing with your fingers a little bit and see if you find any tight sore spots. I have several in my neck with all that's going on right now in the world between COVID and people mad at each other over politics. I think all of us tend to be a little stressed. So find those tight areas and then just squeeze and release the tension. Just squeeze and relax. A couple more. And bring your hands around and place them on your shoulders near your neck and just continue working a little bit on tight spots in the shoulders and neck. Maybe rub the back of the neck a little bit to warm it up. And then bring your hands around behind you to your low back and then just kind of massaging the low back, releasing tension in that area. And then your chest, especially the center of the chest, the heart center, just go ahead and rub your fingers around your chest and see if there are any tight areas, any sore spots in the chest. We can hold tension there as well as the shoulders. And now let's go ahead and massage the hands and fingers. So rub the hands together and get some warmth in them, get them warmed up. And then go ahead and take your left hand and massage your right wrist, palm of the hand, and then the thumb, the forefinger, all of the fingers, just warming them up. And then rub your hands together again. And we'll do the left hand. So start out at the base of the thumb, the wrist a little bit, massaging the palms, the back of the hands, and then all of the fingers. This is especially helpful if you have arthritis in your fingers. I can personally attest to that. And then go back to the right arm again, and let's kind of warm up the lower arm, around the elbow joint, and then the upper arm on top and underneath. Maybe a little squeeze there to see if there's any tight spots, any sore spots. Work on those. And then go to the left arm, and again, just warming it up, rubbing it, getting the blood flowing in there, and maybe a little bit of squeeze and see if you've got any sore spots there in any of those muscles. Work on them a little more. Okay, and now we're going to go down and work on the feet. So I'm starting here with my left foot, and what we want to do is massage the heel all over the heel, and then the top of the foot, and the ball of the foot. And something really handy for massaging the bottom of the foot is if you have a tennis ball or even a golf ball, just kind of rub that around the bottom of the foot, loosening up the fascia. And then go ahead and begin working a little bit on the toes. If any of you have had reflexology done, you know that while sometimes it's kind of a painful procedure, it really can have good benefits. So you can work a little bit on our toes, and actually that can affect some of the muscles all throughout the body. And let's go ahead and do the other foot. So again, start and massage all of the ankle, maybe give the Achilles tendon a little bit, all around there. And then you can just rub the foot, or if you've got a tennis ball handy, just move that around the bottom of the foot, smoothing out that tight fascia, that kind of saran wrap stuff that surrounds all of our muscles, and then work on the toes. Just start with the big toe and work my way down. Okay, so let's come down on our backs and we'll work on massaging the hips and the spine a little bit. So roll slowly down, keep your knees bent. And now lift the feet off the floor, put your hands on your knees. We'll do some wave breathing. So take a breath in. Exhale, pull your knees toward your chest. Notice your sitting bones lift up. And then inhale, bring the knees back over the chest. Your lower back will rise a little bit. And then exhale again, bringing the knees to the chest. And we'll just go back and forth a few times with the breath, just gently warming up the spine and letting the floor massage it a bit. And one more time to the chest on an exhale. And inhale, keeping your hands on your knees. Now just gently roll around from side to side. Just massaging your hips. And go in the other direction. And now bring both feet to the floor. Roll over to one side. And we're going to come up, standing on our knees. Now, if you don't have a carpet on your floor, if you've got a hardwood floor under your mat, you might want to double up the mat. Give yourself some padding for your knees. And we're going to stretch out now by doing a lunge. And I'm going to bring my block here by the side of the mat because I might need it in a moment. So let's stand on the knees. And then let's go ahead and lift the right leg and stretch it out in front. And then we're going to take a breath and exhale, bend the knee. And inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. And straighten. And bend again, let's stay. And you should be feeling a stretch here in the front of the back thigh, the left thigh. And you can clasp your hands on your right thigh and gently press. And this will open the chest a bit and also maybe increase a little bit the stretch in the front of the leg. So hold here and let's just take a few breaths. Just letting those muscles stretch out. And then take your left hand. Move this block, place it on the block, maybe your fingertips on the block, or if you don't need the block, you can place the hand on the floor, and we're just going to do a twist. We're going to move to the right. So inhale, and begin to lift your right arm up as you gently turn your pelvis and your rib cage up. They move together, and then if it doesn't bother your neck, you can look up at your hand. Couple of breaths, really stretch, and then exhale, and go ahead, bring your hand back. Place the block on the other side. Well, actually, let's leave it here for now. Straighten the leg. Place both hands, palms down at the hip crease, the top of your thigh, and we're going to bend forward. Not too far, just a little bend. So inhale. And exhale, bend over to a comfortable position for you. You don't have to go too far. You should feel a stretch now in the back of the calf, perhaps the back of the thigh, maybe a bit in the hips and buttocks. So just hold the stretch for a couple of breaths. And then inhale and slowly come back up. And bring the right knee back to starting position. We'll do the same thing now on the left side. So stretch the left leg out. And we're going to warm it up by bending the knee and straightening. And bend, straighten, bend, and let's stay. So again, you can just press your hands into your thighs and open your spine a little bit, perhaps increase the stretch in the quadricep muscle of the back leg. So just hold and breathe. And now take the block, if you're using a block, and place it on the other side. Place your fingertips or your hand on the block. Fingertips help me to keep my spine longer, so I'm going to keep my fingertips there. And then the left arm, we're going to inhale, bring up, coming into a gentle twist. Pelvis and torso move together. Gaze up if you like. And then inhale, stretch a higher. Exhale, lower your arm. And come back to standing on your knees. If you'd like to sit for a moment and rest in staff pose, in firm pose, take a couple breaths here. And then come up on your knees again. And this time, we're going to do a pose called gate pose. And I'm going to start with the left leg this time so you can see better what I'm doing. So you're going to extend the left leg out to the side. And we're not going to bend the knee because we already warmed it up from the front. So we're going to inhale, reach the right arm up, stretching. And then exhale, bend over to the side. And again, you don't have to go too far, just enough so you're getting a nice stretch along the right side of the body. Stay here and breathe. And the affirmation is waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. And then inhale, stretch up. And exhale, bring your hand back to your side. Bring the left leg back to starting position. And we'll do gate pose on the other side. So extend the right leg out. Now I have my foot on the floor, but if you need to, you can come up and rest on your heel. So let's inhale, left arm up, stretch, and then exhale over to the side. Go to your level of comfort. Breathe. And again, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. And inhale, stretch. And exhale. Bring your hands back down to your side. Come down onto your hands and knees in table pose. Weight resting on the base of the thumbs and forefingers, fingers pointing forward. And we're going to come up in a moment into downward facing dog. So take a breath. Exhale, pull your navel in, tuck your toes under. Inhale. And then lift up and back into downward facing dog. Spine is long, spine is neutral. Neither too rounded or arched, just nice straight spine. Stay here and breathe. And affirm calmness radiates through every fiber of my being. calmness radiates through every fiber of my being. And then take a breath and exhale and slowly walk back towards your feet. You're in a forward bend. Slide your hands up your shins, press into your thighs, and slowly lift back up to standing. And come to mountain pose. So check that your feet are parallel, shoulders relaxed, spine long, chin level. Bring your head back a little so everything's in good alignment. Breathe. And affirm, I stand ready to make positive changes in my life. I stand ready to make positive changes in my life. And now let's step the feet apart, standing on the long way of your mat. Line up your feet. And we're going to do a wide-legged forward bend. So bring your hips back a little. Take a breath. And exhale, bend forward from the hips. You can slide your hands down your legs. Now, if you'd like, you can place the hands on the block or just let them rest on your legs. Keep the spine long. Keep the breath smooth and even. And if you feel like you could go a little further, everything feels good, take a breath, and then exhale, come a little deeper, bringing your belly down towards your thighs, increasing the stretch in the back of the legs. Place your hands on the block or on the floor. One more breath. Exhale, relax if it's right for your back. And then to come out, bring your hands on your thighs and slowly press back up to standing and pause and focus on your breath. We're going to go into warrior two now. So go ahead and keep your legs apart as they are and turn the front foot out slightly. Back foot in. Externally rotate that front thigh. Maybe even turn that foot out a little bit. This is to keep your knee from rolling in. And then inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, bend the front knee, shin bone vertical. Keep stretching through the arms. Turn your head now, gaze out over your front arm. Breathe. And affirm, I joyfully manifest the power within. I joyfully manifest the power within. Keep your feet pressing. And now inhale, slowly straighten the leg. Lower your arms, bring your feet back so they're parallel, both facing straight ahead. And breathe. And let's do warrior two to the other side. So turn the left foot out, right foot in, heel and arch lined up. Inhale the arms. Exhale, bend the front knee, shin bone vertical. Don't let that knee roll in. Turn your head now. Gaze out over the left arm. Breathing and affirming, I joyfully manifest the power within. I joyfully manifest the power within. One more breath. Then straighten the leg. Bring your arms back to your side and bring the feet forward again. Pausing. Focusing on your breath. And now turn the right foot, the front foot out again. Again, externally rotate the front leg. Check for heel and arch alignment. So we're going to start out the same way we did in warrior, but then we're going to go into side angle pose from the warrior. So inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bend the front knee. Another inhalation. And then exhale, bend the elbow and bring your forearm down to rest on the thigh. Sweep the other arm out in front and then overhead. And then just really feel the stretch all the way from the back ankle to the tip of the fingertips. And breathe. And affirm, I'm a fountain of boundless energy and joy. I'm a fountain of boundless energy and joy. And then inhale, sweep your arm in front of your body, and then up as you bring yourself back up to standing. Turn both feet forward. Pause, and notice how you're feeling. And let's do the other side. So, turn the left foot out slightly, right foot in. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, bend the front knee. Slowly turn your head, gaze out over your front arm, and then take a breath in. And exhale, bend the front elbow, let it rest on the thigh. Sweep the other arm in front and then up overhead, if possible, close to your ear, and then just feel the stretch. That stretch all along the side of the body. From the heel up through the fingers. Hold here, breathing. Feet pressing firmly into the floor. And affirm, I'm a fountain of boundless energy and joy. I'm a fountain of boundless energy and joy. And then inhale, arm comes forward. Come to standing, feet together. And come back and stand in mountain pose. Pause. And notice how you're feeling. What are the sensations in your body? And we're going to come down onto the floor in a moment. So let's do that by circling the arms up overhead. And then exhale, bending the knees slightly as you swan dive into a forward bend. And then keeping fingertips on the mat, bend one knee. And then the other knee. And come sitting in staff pose. Legs out in front. Press through the feet. Press your legs into the floor. Keep the spine long. And breathe. And now go ahead and bend your left knee. Bring the leg towards you. We're going to do Janusarasana, head to knee pose. So the foot now is probably about where your knee is. And take the fingers of your hand, of your left hand, and gently press them toward the other leg. And then go ahead and rotate the leg so that the bottom of the foot is against the thigh or close to the thigh of the straight leg. And then take the straight leg and rotate it a bit. So more of your weight is on the big toe side of the foot than the little toe side of the foot. Now, if your bent knee is fairly close to the ground or almost touching the ground, that's fine. Leave it the way it is. If it's kind of up in the air, you can place a block underneath it. Now, sometimes I need the block. Today I'm pretty close, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. So we're going to be doing a forward bend over the straight leg, over the right leg. So place your right hand behind you and press down to keep your spine long. And as we bend forward over that leg, we're going to inhale, lift the pelvis, and bring it forward over the leg, and bring the left hand around. Place it on the outside of that leg, wherever it will reach. And remember, you're doing yoga, whether that hand is on the thigh, the knee, or ankle. So listen to your body. Go only as far as right for you today. So let's inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lift the pelvis up, and then bring the left hand over and hold on wherever it's comfortable. And then you can bring the other hand around, hold on to the wrist. And then just notice where you're feeling sensations. Now you can press that straight leg into the ground as long as you don't feel a stretch in the knee joint. You don't want to feel the stretch in the joints, just in the muscles. And then notice your lower back. Is it comfortable, or is there an unpleasant sensation in the low back? And if there is, come up a little. So let's stay here and take 3 deep breaths. Now again, take notice of how you're feeling. And if everything feels good, you feel like you could go a little further, there's no discomfort in the low back, then take a breath in, lengthen your spine, lift the pelvis, and then come a little further. And then if you like, if your hands can go further, maybe you can hold on to your ankle or maybe even your foot. So stay here. Breathe. Breathe into the sensations you're feeling, which hopefully are just a good stretch and no pain. And one more breath. And then bring your hands back by your upper thighs and press yourself up. Straighten both legs. And come back again into staff pose. Pause. And notice how you're feeling. And now we'll do the other side. So, holding on under the knee, bring the right leg forward, and then rotate it out to the side. And again, just notice if you need a block, if you do, or a blanket, you can place it under the knee. And then the straight leg, you're going to roll it in a little bit so there's more weight on the big toe side than the little toe side. Take your left arm around behind you to lengthen you. And then again, we're going to lift the pelvis and bring it down over the thigh, keeping the spine long, not bending the spine. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale, round over that leg. Bring your right hand around wherever it comfortably reaches. And then you can bring the other arm around to join it, maybe holding on to the wrist. And just take a few breaths. Make sure that there's no discomfort in the low back or in the knee joint. If there is, come up a little. Otherwise, stay here breathing. And now if everything feels good and you feel like you could safely go a little further, then inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bring the belly a little further. And if possible, you can move your hands further down. Stay here breathing. And the affirmation is left and right and all around. Life's harmonies are mine. Left and right and all around. Life's harmonies are mine. And then inhale. And slowly bring your hands back to your thighs. As you lift your torso, straighten the legs. And come back for a moment into staff pose. And notice how you're feeling. And now we're going to do a pose that's very good abdominal strengthener, and it's called boat pose. And we're going to do 3 versions. We're going to start out, the first one is called anchored boat. So come slide forward. What you might want to do with this pose, have a little bit of padding. So what I would like to do is take my folded blanket and open it once. And then I'm going to use it to pad my back, because to do this pose, we're leaning back almost to the base of the sacrum. So for the anchored boat pose, put your hands behind you, palms down, fingers facing forward, and then your back off of your sitting bones. Your hands are supporting you. And then go ahead and lift the left leg, and then the right leg. And you should feel your abdominal muscles kicking in here, and they're working to keep you stabilized. Keep your legs from falling, keep you from falling. So a couple breaths. One more. And then slowly lower the legs, cross your ankles, and just maybe bend forward a little bit. And then come back and bend the knees again. And now we're going to do half boat pose. So for this version, the hands are going to be under the knees, and you'll keep them there to support the legs. So again, lean back off of your sit bones, and then lift the left leg, and then the right leg. The legs are parallel. And don't try to straighten the spine in this one. You need to keep the spine a little bit rounded, because if you go into a back bend, it's going to stretch your abdominal muscles, and then they won't be able to support you. So let's take a breath, and then exhale, and slowly stretch out. And we'll do one more, and this time, if you like, you can move the hands away, or you can just keep them and do the same pose we just did. So let's lean back off the sitting bones, keep the spine rounded, pelvis, the belly reaching in and up, and then raise one leg, the other leg, and then if you choose, both arms, keep the spine rounded. And the affirmation, within my every breath is infinite power. Within my every breath is infinite power. Inhale, exhale, and slowly roll forward again, stretching out the back. And then come back to neutral. And we won't need the blanket for the next pose, so I'm going to fold mine back here at the top of my mat. And I'm going to grab a drink of water. If you have a water bottle with you, might be a good time to get one yourself. All right, so next we are going to do fish pose, which is a chest opener and a gentle back bending pose. So if you don't know it, you can watch first. Go ahead and lie down on your back. I'm not going to use my blanket as a pillow for this pose. And then straighten your legs one at a time. So the legs are straight. Now we're not going into Shavasana yet, so take your hands, your palms are facing down, and slide them under the buttocks. And then bring the elbows in close to your body. And take a breath in. On the exhalation, press your elbows firmly into the ground and lift your entire torso, head and neck up. And then very gently bring the back top of your head down to rest lightly on the floor. And stay here and breathe. And see how your chest is open, allowing for lots of air. breath flowing. Feel how open the chest is in this pose. The affirmation, my soul floats on waves of cosmic light. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. And to come out, press your elbows firmly into the floor and lift your body up again, and then slowly roll down vertebra at a time. Take your hands away and just rest for a few breaths. And now bend the knees, and we'll do one more pose before Shavasana. This is thread the needle, so it's a hip opening pose. So your knees are bent, arms by the side. So go ahead and lift the left foot off the floor, and then place the ankle of the left leg on the thigh of the right leg. And then draw the right leg towards you. Place your left hand in the opening between your legs, and then hold on either behind the thigh or in front of the shin, whatever feels right to you. I'm going to hold on behind the thigh for now. And as you pull that leg towards you, you should feel a pretty intense stretch in the back of the thigh, the back of the left thigh. And if that left knee is kind of trying to move towards your chest and you're losing the stretch, use your left elbow to gently press it away. So this stretch can be pretty intense, but just imagine that you're trying to relax those tight muscles by sending your breath there. And to send your breath there, you just inhale and concentrate on that area, and just imagine the breath flowing through that area and helping to relax that tight muscle. A couple more breaths. And now inhale and exhale. Release your hands from behind your leg and slowly lower the right foot to the floor, and then the left foot joins it on the floor. And just pause for breath. Notice how you're feeling. And we'll do the other side. So lift the left leg off the floor, the left foot. Place the right foot off the floor. Place the ankle on the left leg. And gently pull that leg towards you. And now put the left hand between the right hand, between the legs, and then go ahead and flex the right foot. This kind of helps to straighten your knee. Hold on either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Use that elbow if you need it to press the right knee away from you. Stay here breathing into that stretch. And one last breath. And exhale. Take your hands away. Bring the left foot to the floor. And now the right foot to the floor. And let's get ready now for final relaxation. So you might want to come up, get a drink of water before we're ready to relax. And if you're using any props, you might want to get them in order. Of course, you can always use the blanket as a pillow. You might want to put your socks on if your feet are chilly, or if you have another blanket or a sweater or a jacket you want to put over you. You want to make sure that you're very, very comfortable during final relaxation. So as you're ready, come lying on your back. Get as comfortable as you can. take a moment to press both feet away from you and then let them relax. Let the feet roll out to the side. And keep the legs far enough apart so the inner thighs aren't touching. And then have your arms away from your body with the palms turned up. And then just get as comfortable as you can. And we'll begin an awareness tour through the body. So as I mentioned, a part of the body, bring your awareness there. And maybe mentally repeat the name of the body part. So let's begin focusing first on the left foot. And go ahead now and tighten the muscles of the left foot, the ankle, the calf, the knee, all the way up to the thigh. Squeeze and hold the tension. And now all at once let it go. And feel that leg resting heavy on the surface. And now take the right hand and make a fist, and then tighten the right wrist and the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm, all the way up to the shoulder. Just squeeze and hold that tension. And then all at once exhale and just let that hand and arm rest on its surface. And now bring your awareness to the left foot. Tighten the foot, tighten the ankle, the calf, the entire leg, all the way up through the thigh. Hold that tension, squeeze it, and all at once let it go. And just feel the tension leave and feel the relaxation. Feel the heaviness of relaxation. And now the left arm and hand. So make a fist with the left hand and then tighten the wrist, the elbow, the upper arm, and just squeeze it with tension, hold it, and then all at once release the tension and let it all go. And now tighten the muscles of the buttocks, squeeze, hold that tension, and then all at once let it go. And now pull in the belly below the navel, squeeze, hold it in tight, and then let it go. And now begin to relax the upper torso, the chest, the back, the shoulders. And now squeeze the muscles of your neck and throat. And then let them relax. And squeeze your eyes and your forehead together. Squeeze. And then relax and feel the forehead soften, smooth as silk. And bring your awareness to your breath. Keep the focus there. And feel your body resting, content. Feel the deep heaviness of relaxation. And continue focusing on your breath for a few moments longer. Bones, muscles, movement, I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, churning thoughts, all these I give into the hands of peace and rest, relaxed, content, peaceful for another moment or two. I'll ring the bell 3 times to bring you back. And now very slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your body, its sensations. Notice your breath. Notice your heart beating. Be aware of the sounds of the room. Slowly begin to move your fingers, your toes. You need to take a moment to stretch your arms and legs. And now take a deep inhalation. On the exhalation, press your lower back into the floor. Turn your legs until your knees directly face the ceiling. And then bend one leg and bring it toward you. Bend the other leg and bring it toward you. And now keeping the lower back pressed into the ground, slowly roll to one side, resting your hand on your folded arm. And pause here for a few breaths. Notice the shape you're in. Notice how you're feeling. And now as you're ready to come up, slowly press your top palm down into the floor and begin to press up. Use the other hand and arm to help. Come back in to a comfortable seated posture. And now close your eyes, sitting tall, long spine. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. And let's bring our hands to the heart center. Namaste. Thank you for doing yoga with me, and I'll see you next time.